Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you a Capital One Bowl game preview between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with Georgia.
When you look at Georgia in this matchup, you have to look at the freshman combination of Keith Marshall and Todd Gurley, a.k.a. Gershel. I think these guys can have some success running the football versus Nebraska. If you go back to the Big Ten championship game, and I know I hate using games from different opponents because new team, new matchup, but this is the same type of element as a Wisconsin. They can run downhill. So look for these guys to go early, go often to their ground game to try to neutralize what Nebraska wants to do defensively and also try to make them maximize their own possessions. And it also opens up the play action pass for Tavares King downfield. So I think Georgia will be more run heavy this game as opposed to last. That's where they have the advantage versus Nebraska. Defensively for Georgia, we know nose tackle John Jenkins will be out with suspension. So you look at Kwame Geathers, number 99. He's going to have a huge game keeping the lineman off the second level. Alex Ogletree has to do a better job with his run fits. That's something he didn't do well with versus Alabama. He did sound in pass coverage, but in the running game, he has to do a better job of meeting the rubber at the road. And you also look at Sean Williams, the outstanding strong safety, being an impact in the running game, filling the alleys, playing that field defender role. If he's going to get out of position, then Taylor Martinez can make big plays with his legs. So you look at the battery of Georgia's defense. Nose tackle, inside backer, strong safety, all have to be important this week versus Nebraska. Now let's move over to the Cornhuskers in this ball game. And when you look at Nebraska and what they want to do in this bowl game, they want to make it a boring matchup for Georgia. Georgia really just wants to get up the football field, cause all kinds of havoc with your pass protection, with your run blocking schemes. They want to be aggressive. The way you can neutralize pressure is by running right at it. You're going against a 3-4 defense, so look for a lot more downhill running, and that's just going to open things up as well on the outside for Taylor Martinez, being able to run to the outside. He has that speed that can take it the distance. Now with a mobile quarterback, it's 11 on 11. This is a tough matchup for Georgia, and if Nebraska's going to win this game, it will be behind the running of Rex Burkhead and Taylor Martinez. Now defensively, I instantly want to focus on the secondary of Nebraska. There's a lot of size back there. We know Georgia loves to go 3 and sometimes 4 wide receiver sets. Can they match up with the receivers of Georgia? I think they can. They can get physical at the point of attack. What that does is throw off the timing of the passing game, which allows that pass rush to get to the quarterback and get into the sight lines of Aaron Murray. So Nebraska can come away with a lot of tips at the line of scrimmage, which could result into interceptions. Keep an eye on Damian Stafford as well. This guy's an awesome safety back there. Could come away with a turnover or two that can give the ball back to that ball control offense of the Cornhuskers. Prospects on defense, John Jenkins, Jarvis Jones, but let's focus on Bakari Rambo, 6 feet, 210, a guy, in my opinion, that can play free safety. He can also play strong safety, put him close to the box. So as that scheme versatility allows NFL defensive coordinators to get creative in their coverages and also their aggressive packages. And when you look at Nebraska, free safety Damian Stafford, I like the way this guy covers the field sideline to sideline, always has a knack for the big play. Maybe a mid-round type of pick, but someone at the next level will get a player that's going to come to work every day and bring his A game. Garrison Hurts was definitely a campus legend from 1990 to 1992. Always made the big plays out of the backfield, was an explosive and shifty runner, and that was a deadly combination for teams going against him. You look at a guy that finished with 1,500 yards his junior season and also finished third in the Heisman Trophy voting. One could make an argument that he should have won it over Gino Torretta. And one of my favorite players, Irvin Fryer, was an outstanding wide receiver for Nebraska, but he was also able to run the football out of the backfield, which made him dangerous. So when you look at a guy that not only helped you out in the backfield, but also on the flanks, was also a deadly punt returner. So this guy was very versatile, and it was one of the reasons why Nebraska was a very tough team to defeat in the early 80s. I like Georgia in this ball game. Even with some of the pieces missing on defense, John Jenkins in particular, I still think they have enough to cause problems for Nebraska offensively. And when I look at Georgia's offense, I look at the running backs of Todd Gurley, Keith Marshall being a problem to stop for Nebraska. Look for Georgia to win this ball game and walk away Capital One Bowl champions.